I'm Kendall, and I'm recently a freshman at UNC Chapel Hill. I survived my first week. And I almost set a record this time and not going over a time limit or anything. Got my notes laid out, ready to go. So I would like to talk to y'all about my journey to Christ and then some of the things that God sort of laid on my heart that I feel like I need to share with everybody. And so we'll start out when I was a child, because I'm an adult now. Okay, so as a child I went to Sunday school and I liked it, but I didn't really love it. I had fun, but it just never really hit me, the importance of it, until I got older. And as I got older, I didn't go every Sunday, and I started slacking off little by little. You could see it through the years how I didn't go as much as when I started. And then whenever I got to middle school, you could get into the youth group, and it never really dawned on me I didn't have a passion for it, and I didn't feel like it was an important part of my life or anything. And so I didn't really go to youth group, and that's something that I wouldn't encourage for anybody because it's the most important thing to do, I feel like. And so I never went to any of the functions. I started high school, going through some really rough years, but I still wouldn't give it to God. I wouldn't rely on Him, and I was mad at Him. I couldn't understand why some things were happening, and I just didn't want to be around Him. I didn't want to go to church because that's where I felt Him most whenever I was there, and I didn't want to be around Him. And so I never wanted to turn to Him, and I had a lot of blame. 10th and 11th grade, things in life started getting better, and I started to get more involved, still not completely open to Christ. I believed in Him, but I didn't accept Him. I wasn't ready to just give my whole life to Him. That's a huge step, and I wasn't ready to take that with Him. And but I started to realize how hard life was without Him, and so that sort of started leading me into, well, it sure isn't good without Him. Maybe it might be good with Him. And so then my senior year came, and I went to church a lot more. I was going to the Sun on Friday nights and Youth Yak on Sunday nights, and just really loving it. And I don't know, things started getting easier, and I was starting to get on a little bit more at a time. And in December of my senior year, my great grandma went into the hospital, and this was somebody I was really, really close to. And now I'm dealing with life and death, and that was when I really, truly realized that I couldn't get through it without Him. And at first I was mad. I was like, how can you take this person from me? She hasn't done anything. My family hasn't done anything. Why are you going to take her? And but whenever she was in the hospital, she would say, just let me go, just let me go. And that was so hard to hear, but she knew where she was going to go. She was comfortable with that. And at the time I was like, if I was on my deathbed, I don't think I could say, just let me go, because I didn't know where I was going to go. And so there was a lot of feelings with that. And then December 21st, she was still in the hospital. And I was here one Sunday. I think it might have just been me because the rest of my family was up at the hospital. And there was this person that I hadn't forgiven in my life. And that was seriously holding me back. That was a huge brick wall in between me and my relationship with Christ. And whenever I was sitting in there, the ladies' ensemble was singing, and I don't know, it was just like God saying, Kendall, you can forgive, you can do it, go for it. And I was hesitant at first. I was like, I don't know. And but He just kept poking me on the shoulder, saying, Kendall, just do it. And so I just said to myself, I was like, you know what, I can forgive. And as soon as I did, I swear, it was like fireworks going off. It was just the most freeing thing ever. And that's when I realized, that brick wall's gone. I've got to go for the relationship now. And So then December 24th, my great-grandma passed away, and I still hadn't accepted them yet. I was still kind of like, I was mad and angry, but at the same time, I was on the right road now. I was going towards that relationship. And then at the Big God Conference, December 30th is whenever God finally just told me, he was like, just accept me, you know? And I was like, you know what, I can do it. And I went up there on that huge stage in front of hundreds, maybe thousands of people, I don't know, and professed my faith to him. And it was just, if he can give me the strength to forgive and get me through some of the hardships we've been through, he can do anything. And since then, God has done so many great things in my life. I won't say life has been easy because it hasn't by far, but with him, all things. With him, I know all things are possible, as Philippians 4:13 says. I've been allowed to go on 2 amazing mission trips to visit Gulf, Honduras, and Charleston, South Carolina this summer. And they have been the most life-changing trips I've ever been on. And it wasn't because of the location or what was going on or anything like that with the mission trip. It was because I had Christ in me this time. And I was working through him and for him. I wasn't just going on some trip to go. And I was able to have a greater effect on those trips because of him. And I received a much greater blessing than I have on any other trip. And I felt the call to missions, and I'm in the process of fulfilling that call and fulfilling his purpose for me. And so this is how I came to know Christ and sort of my life's sin. And I want to share with y'all now a huge aha moment I had that I feel like every Christian needs to have. Even after, well, of course before and even after I accepted Christ, I didn't truly understand, like, the importance of it. I knew it was the best decision I could ever make in my life. I knew it would make life better and I'd be able to get through things easier with him. But I didn't understand the importance and just how significant that relationship is with Christ. We always say that, you know, accepting Christ is the best decision. And but how long do we think that? How long? I mean, of course it registers in your head, but how long do you truly believe that? Yes, that is the best decision I could ever make. And it didn't hit me until 7 months after that I had accepted Christ that I realized just how much of a difference this decision had made. And like, I don't know, it just hit me. It was like, wow, that was just amazing. And a lot of times we as Christians get too comfortable with our relationships, I feel like. I don't want to say we take it for granted, but in a way we almost do. How often do we thank God for what he's done for us? We aren't always grateful each day. We don't feel God's duties that he puts before us all the time. And a lot of times we put other things and people before God. A lot of times we think we've accepted Christ and love him and believe in him, and that's all we have to do. That's all fine and dandy. But it's not. It doesn't work that way. For all my Facebookers out there, in one of my notes, I wrote about how sometimes our relationship with Christ can be compared to something that's really valuable to us, but we don't understand its true value until we lose it or we break it, or something tests our relationship with Christ, or something bad happens with us. We have to thank him every day. We have to be grateful. We have to fulfill what he calls us to do and fulfill what all of us as Christians are called to do. And the only way I know how to put it is just live in the now every day for Christ. Don't take him for granted, and do what he calls you to do personally as well as what we are called to do as Christians. My hope is that every day each of us in here will have that huge aha moment.